Hello everyone and welcome back to Timberborn. This is episode 7 of the Badlands Plains Challenge. In the last episode we set up this spillway and we had a few minor problems. You can see some of the remains of the bad water that spilled over. We tried upgrading it so that it was 3 tiles wide instead of 2 tiles wide, as well as bumping up some of the levees on the side. We're going to finish constructing this today and then we're going to move on to getting a big reservoir all around here. It may or may not be obvious, but I am a little sick, so please bear with me on today's episode. I'll do my best to not sound completely congested. It seems like we're getting this mine completed in just the nick of time because there's only one of these ruins left. So we can actually delete all of these scavenger flags. It seems that we have a drought approaching, and I am looking at what it would take in order to make this whole area work. I think part of why we were flooding in the last episode is because we were starting at a water level that's right up here. So I'm hoping if we can actually lower the water level, then when the bad water comes through, it will just flow down here without spilling over the top like it was before. So it seems that even though we have the grease factory prioritized by haulers, 2 iron bots working around the clock, and enough canola oil, that we still are not actually getting enough grease. So I think that means we need to get another grease factory set up. And it seems we're flooding all these buildings. It's very finicky when you change the floodgate heights. Ooh, they got the mine set up. So now we can use gears and treated planks to make scrap metal. So I definitely forgot to pause these pumpers. Fortunately we can lower these, get a little bit more water out over here, then we won't dry up all of this area. Looks like the beavers finished constructing the spillway. Once the drought is over, we can test and see if it can handle just some water coming through here. And now we can start looking at making a dam all around this area. We're going to make this dam pretty high. We are going to need to remove these 2 water pumpers, and we'll also have to relocate these ones since this is actually going to be cut off once we finish putting this wall in. So this is the start of it. We will need to put in some levees over here and then triple floodgates as well. But until we have the outline of this, we don't want to start backing water up here because then it would just flood everything. There's a lot going on here. We have some scaffolding that'll make it easier for the beavers to construct everything, as well as allow them to get around and up to where these new water pumps will be. And the nice thing about this is that we can have beavers from both districts working on it. We have some unemployed beavers in this district, which means it is time to make another builder's hut. In fact, we'll make a couple and bump that up because otherwise these will be constructed after all this. Well, it looks like we got a bot who trapped himself. Oh, that's a few of them in there. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to delete these. Okay, I think we're going to wait to construct right here until after the bots have finished going in and out of this area. And as a new day is just getting ready to start, you can see that the drought is almost over. So let's see if this area can actually handle having water flow through here. We have this fully lowered and the water is flowing all the way from up here. We'll leave that running for a day and we'll check back in on it. Now they're making really good progress on this dam. There's still a bit to do, but not too shabby so far. Wow, we filled the grease up all the way. Now we're actually out of bad water. Turn these 2 guys back on. And now that the bad water's coming through, this will help fill up our reserves. Okay, so it's the next day and it does look like it is starting to rise up over here. It's weird because all the way over here At the end you can see the water is like maybe a half tile high. Up here the water is like 4 tiles high. It is 1 tile wider here versus over here, but even in this area it's only 3 tiles wide and it's not anywhere near as tall as over here. Yeah, that is creeping up. In fact, I think I might start overflowing in just a second. There she goes, just about to overtop. So we're going to lower this. Don't need to let any more flooding happen. We are now in remodeling mode. I gotta get this sorted out. And for these to go boom. And then these go boom. And it looks like we have a bad tide approaching. We're getting all of this prioritized, so that way worst case scenario it spills over into this area. Since we saw that this area could be flooded and it doesn't really matter, but we don't want to have the beavers exposed to bad water over here. We have just under a day left until the bad tide approaches, and we have lowered this water elevation, and now we are ready for the bad tide to hit. Here comes the bad water, and hopefully this goes a little bit better than last time. So far so good. It looks like widening this area and then also lowering the elevation of this so it's flat along here has been helping. And while we have no water coming through here, I think that we're going to be pretty dang close to finishing this reservoir. So while the beavers are working on this dam right here, this is the perfect time to tell you that I have a new series planned. Today's episode will not be the last video in this series. I do plan on coming back and adding in some more features to this map. In this next series I'm going to be pumping out a lot more content, and the first part of that series should be coming out at the beginning of December, so stay tuned for that. And going back to the spillway, it looks like it is actually working. Even after a couple days it doesn't look like it's backing up at all. It's excellent news because I did not want to have to widen this whole thing again. So there is one thing that I did not really think about when finishing this part here. I'll actually need to fill this whole thing up until this level before the water actually flows through. Thankfully we have quite a bit of water saved up over here, so it shouldn't be an issue. In worst case scenario I could just delete one of these, but I don't think I'll need to. And we can see that the water is coming back now. As soon as all the bad water is flushed through, then we can start filling this reservoir up. And here comes the water. We're gonna get some water backing up here, and we can actually utilize these deep bad water pumps now. Well, as soon as it gets above this level. I think this is the last block that we have, and we will have completed this mega dam. Dun 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 dun! It's complete. I'll have to see what it looks like after we get some water pouring through. Then we can slowly raise this up. Oh, the water is spilling through now. Oh, and here comes the water. Ooh. We'll back this up just a little bit more, start filling it up. So I ran some rough calculations. With there being 12 logs per levee, between all of these levees around here, we used over 4,000 logs, which is basically the reserves that we have stored up. So this is what the reservoir looks like when it is fully storing all the water it can. It backs up all the way over here. Wow, there is a lot of water in here. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. I really do appreciate it. And subscribe so you will not miss the next series that's coming out really soon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next series. Adios.